Yes, this is the slide presentation that was made at the first annual general meeting of the Nanaimo Ratepayers Association. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I'm going to try and condense this down so it'll make one segment as a YouTube version. This is the theme basically was where we've been and where we're going and how we plan on getting there. When we first got started, considering this was a grassroots, volunteer-driven organization, I think we've done quite well. On the downside, I think we expected to accomplish far more than we were capable of doing, so when you set the bar too high, you don't achieve that, you maybe get critical of yourself, saying, well, we didn't do too good a job. But I think we did actually quite very well. We didn't gain support from some of the groups in town we thought we might. Turns out that City Hall spreads a lot of money around town. There are poor communications this past year through newsletters, emails, and there's some glitches in email addresses and that sort of thing, but I think we've resolved pretty much all of those issues. We now have a website up, NanaimoRatepayers.com, that is also a good source for quick references to what's actually going on in the city and where we, as members of the Ratepayers Association, should focus our interests. If you consider that this started with 2 guys over coffee, we've now grown to 100 members with no advertising budget and no great big membership drives. I think we've done quite well. We looked into a core service review. We examined the one from Penticton, and while they are very beneficial, I don't think you'll get this particular council to endorse one anytime soon. We made a couple of presentations to City Council. One of them, I believe, helped to slow down or stop the what could have been a disastrous agreement for the hotel, the first hotel agreement, which would have seen us basically give away our conference center but maintaining all the liability. We rented a booth at the Vancouver Island exhibition, which we did get some new members, but I don't think that the results were anywhere near what we had hoped. The traffic certainly wasn't anywhere near what I was looking for. One of the issues we've had this past year is not knowing how to really focus our focus. We've gone off in too many directions and haven't just maintained our focus the way we should have. Now, that being said, where we are now, we have the solid core membership upon which we can become a voice of reason for the average taxpayer at City Hall. We know we have to pay taxes for our basic core services, water, sewer, roads, fire, police, that sort of thing. But we don't necessarily think you have to keep spending 5% more year after year after year to deliver basically the same services. We are now in a position where we should be able to focus our focus as we go forward to make us the voice of the average Nanaimo taxpayer in the city. Where we're going to go from here, we will become the voice for positive change in the community by identifying and encouraging sound, affordable, sustainable fiscal policies. We will be an influencing force at City Hall by becoming informed and engaged in the whole civic process. The ratepayers can help to craft fiscal policy that will focus on what the community can afford rather than what a group of bureaucrats thinks we should be able to afford. We intend to also try and encourage the 73% of the electorate that didn't even bother to vote last time. More public engagement is the way forward to see some real change in the city. Why we need to get there? Between 2008 and 2018, the taxes and fees that go into the city coffers will have increased from $99 million to $149 million in 10 years. That works out to about 5.1% every year. When you factor in the RDN, which is your hospital and school taxes, this year in 2014, there's $143 million going into the pot. 2018, that will have increased to $170 million. So are these affordable and sustainable tax increases? We as the ratepayers don't think they are. Your city council seems to think they are because they looked at these numbers for 5 or 6 months and put their stamp of approval on them. Here are some of the creative ways that they have been able to get rid of some of your tax dollars this past few years. They spent $25,000 to website consultants to tell us how to build our website. $60,000 a year is being paid to meter maids to write tickets downtown. We just finished spending $100,000 a year for 3 governance consultants to tell our city fathers how to interpret the community charter and how to apply Robert's Rules of Order. I would have hoped that both understanding the community charter and using Robert's Rules of Order would have been part of the skill set when somebody becomes a mayor or a city manager. We spent $125,000 for a single-hole toilet down at Diana Krall Plaza. $140,000 a year goes to a spin doctor at City Hall. We spent $200,000 to fix up the end wall of that piece of earthquake bait down at 25 Victoria Road that's being used as a small-time theater for a bunch of hobbyists. We spent $300,000 in tax giveaway to the pub that operates up at the train station. We give $300,000 a year to the Business Improvement Association downtown. As far as I know, in the province, we're the only municipality that does that, and possibly in the whole Dominion of Canada. We subsidize the Port Theatre to the tune of $500,000 a year, which maybe sounds all right, but if you consider that an outfit like Steve Martin's show came into town and charged $147 per seat, kind of makes me wonder why I have to subsidize that kind of entertainment. A couple of years ago, we gave Mr. Barry, the ex-city manager, a $500,000 golden handshake because he thought he wanted to retire early. This last year, we gave away 3 golden handshakes for a total of $648,000. That was paid to managers who basically the new management determined that those jobs were just not necessary. We spent $2 million. We spent $1 million a year to pay the management company that runs the conference center. That's not the cost of maintaining the debt service on the building, nor the cost of utilities or paying for maintenance and upkeep. That's just the $1 million that goes to the management company that runs the conference center. We also spent $2 million on fixing this mythical dam problem. Turns out there really isn't a problem there at all. We spent $3 million a few years ago by hiring a project manager to oversee the construction of the conference center, which was to include the building of a hotel. When they didn't deliver the hotel, City Hall decided to sue them for another $50,000 and didn't recover a dime. So basically, the next time they want to not build a hotel, I will not build one for $500,000 and save the taxpayers $2.5 million. We spent $7 million encumbering the taxpayer of Nanaimo to take on the trestle at Wellcox that leads to land that we don't own. The only reason for maintaining the trestle at Wellcox is so that the Port Authority and Western Forest Products have access to their operations. Well, that could have been left in their department, or the rail company that actually still owns that land. The Nanaimo taxpayers, in my determination, it seems to be a very poor deal for us to take on the liability for that trestle. We're also giving away $10 million over 10 years to the hotel builder that's going to build a hotel downtown. Any company that's seriously going to put up a $50 million building, that $1 million a year was not the deal breaker. That was just the cherry on top. If we hadn't offered it, they would be building it anyway. We put up $72 million for a $42 million conference center. We spent $15 million to build a shiny new office instead of spending a couple of $1 million renovating the old annex, which in fact we turned around and sold for $1. So how are we going to get to where we want to go? It's only going to happen one way, and that's when the average member becomes informed and engaged. That's the only way we're going to get ahead. The Ratepayers Association is a grassroots, ground-up organization that will only succeed to the degree that the general membership is actively involved. The good news is you don't have to quit your day job to make a big difference. You're already making a difference by simply joining and encouraging other people to join the Ratepayers Association. Every voice added to the Ratepayers Association increases the volume of our voice at City Hall when we talk to them. Get your family, friends, co-workers, places where you get your hair cut, you go for a cup of coffee, get those people involved in what's going on in the city. A good way to know what's going on is to make sure, keep your eye out for the Nanaimo Ratepayers newsletter. You should be getting one at least once a month. If you're not, contact a director and ask what's going on, because they should be sent out every month. Also, check out the website. Again, NanaimoRatepayers.com. That will have short little snippets to keep you informed as to what's actually going on in the city. You don't have to read a great big honking newspaper to find out what's actually going on. Phone members of council for something you don't like they're doing, or send them an email. Email to mayor and council. Watch the city council meetings that are broadcast on Shaw 4. Better yet, attend a council meeting, see how things are really run. And if you got the time and desire, volunteer for a Nanaimo Ratepayers Committee. We need your assistance. Tonight you've received a package that gives you some tools to help to promote the Nanaimo Ratepayers Association. There's 5 flyers and 5 business cards. Just simply hand it to somebody, and it points out the fact that taxes didn't have to go up this year. If City Council had decided to take the overtaxation they've collected the last 2 years and apply it to this year's tax increase. Encourage other people to get involved. We hope over the next little while to have some public information events, which may be appearing in front of City Hall and giving away brochures, showing up down on the seawall, giving away brochures, Diana Krall Plaza, different malls around town, this sort of thing, to raise our profile and make more people aware of what's actually going on with their tax dollars. But stay tuned for more details. Now, this council has never seen a tax dollar that they're not willing to spend. And City Council seems to interpret your silence for consent. So if you don't agree with what they are doing, then speak up, because your voice matters, but it only matters if you actually use it.